What's up, everybody? We got a lot to talk about with NBA 2K15. Ratings came out, a bunch of stuff. Well, at least ratings came out for the players rated from 401 to 424. I guess the version of NBA 2K15's Mr. Irrelevance are Bruno Caballo and Shavlik Randolph, both of them getting 64s overall. I'm looking at this, though. I'm saying, like, how many of these guys are like first-round picks? You know, you got Cole Aldrich, Solomon Hill, Luke Babbitt, Victor Claver, Sergey Karasev, Brendan Haywood, even though he don't count because he's been in the league forever. About time for him to drop, you know, even though he was never that high anyway. Hasheem Thabeet was number 2 overall. Josh Huestis and Bruno Caballo, of course, is a rookie this year. So that's something. That's something. But Thabeet is definitely the highest drafted guy in this list. That's pretty depressing. The Bulls only have one player that was rated in that list, so that's a good thing for the Bulls, at least. All right, now you can see, anybody who's a OSer can tell this font is from Operation Sports. Took this from the forum. There's an NBA 2K dev that was in there talking about the overall revamped formula for NBA 2K15. Basically, what they're saying here is that you're going to be, you can read through it as I go through this, but the player ratings have been changed to the point where it's about how valuable that guy is in his role based off of what he is. So if this guy is a dead-eye shooter, he's going to be rated more so as a dead-eye shooter. If he's a great defender, he's going to be rated as a great defender. So it's about plugging him into the right role of what he's supposed to be doing. Now, you might look at a guy and he's like rated say, let me try to figure out, somebody like Kyle Korver, right? Kyle Korver might get if I'm understanding this correctly, Kyle Korver could get a rating of like an 83. Now that might sound ridiculously high based off of what we've been looking at with Kyle Korver previously. But if you're using Kyle Korver the right way as a pure shooter, that might actually match. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen with that. We'll see. This screen, I love it. Basically, we talked about how they're going to have 16 different injury body parts, 16 different ratings to 16 different body parts, right? So this is Andrew Bogut's screen, so we know he's had a bad back, so that's why that area is red. These other areas are color-coded as well. And this changes throughout the course of your MyGM and your MyLeague series or season or whatever, however you want to call it. That is awesome. It's awesome. Now this here is something I haven't yet grabbed yet in terms of the past NBA 2Ks, the whole social media thing. Some of these journalists here are actually even my peers. We all, you know, are basically sports writers or whatever. But I haven't, you know, it's kind of, after a while, it just becomes a name on the screen. And I'm looking for a way for them to implement this and incorporate this aspect into the game where it's more than that. So this year, this is a rookie. There's a created rookie that came into the league, and you know, Mark Spears and other guys are chiming in on basically what they think. So I don't know. I need to learn a little bit more about that. This is Simcast, which there's one part of the screen I want to point you to. I love it. Play game, jump in. So essentially, you can simulate games throughout your MyGM, but it's not just like, oh, I chose to simulate this. You just go through the whole game. You can jump in at any point, which is awesome for me, especially because I like to do crazy type of series. Maybe I'll do a series where I only play the 4th quarter or something. That would be awesome. This gives me the opportunity to do that kind of thing. So now let's look at this. This is Game Informer put out a article today, 28 reasons to be in the MyGM or whatever. So I pulled out like the key points. I linked the article in the description. So let's go from the top. Improve conversations between players. And it's not actually between players, it's between you and the players. So now there's back and forth. Before there was like, you say one thing, they get mad, they leave. You say one thing, they like it, they stay. Whatever. Now it's supposed to be back and forth. I like that. More consequences for broken promises and conversations. So like last year, I told Joakim Noah I wasn't going to trade him like 5 times. I traded him and nobody said nothing. It was like whatever. That should be changed. Love the fact that media questions would get tougher for GMs that lie. Hey, like I told you, it wasn't really, you know, now they saying that the media is going to ask you, they start picking out that you're not telling the truth. The media start making the questions more stringent, and that is kind of cool. Owners will have dynamic needs and wants during the season or during your MyGM experience. So he might start off as a penny pincher, but he sees that you're contending, and now he starts to open up the wallet a little bit. They can change from pushing a rebuild to going into win now mode. So 80 years of play, you will now see ownerships with new agendas and new owners altogether. That's awesome, but it makes me wonder, are we going to be able to carry over saves? Because even the craziest NBA 2K fan playing 80 seasons is a lot. So I wonder if they're going to do that. Moving away from VC to XP awards is awesome. Nobody liked that anyway. GMs will have access to player movement options from the beginning. You don't have to unlock them, which I thought was kind of weird last year. Games can be played in a sim style game with the ability to jump in at any point, which is what I was talking about before. I think that's excellent. Probably should have been there from the beginning, but it's real. It just opens up a lot of different possibilities. I'm not sure which part. I got a second part to this list, but I'm not sure which part I like the most. I like most of it. I do. But I like most of it, but it does also create some questions in my mind for, you know, some next level stuff. I've already sent some questions to LD2K to see if I can get some feedback on some stuff. You know, so we'll see what happens on that. Okay, so let's take a look at the second part of this list, which basically tells me that we got a new scouting system that shows player evaluation, the history, injury history. You saw that with the Andrew Bogut image, but going even further than that, so with your draft classes, right? We all know that in the NBA, a lot of times guys will be listed at one height, but when they get to combine, they measure shorter. They're gonna have that aspect in the game. That's awesome. So they got storylines for draft classes. You can have guys that are gonna be flashes in the pan, guys are gonna be, you know, late risers, you know, in the last 2 weeks right before the draft. That's cool. The prospect classes have increased to 150 players. So for a guy like me that makes draft classes every year, it's more guys. I don't know if I like that. Ha! Player progression has changed. More variance between the players. So guys will, you know, get better and, you know, at different rates. I like that. Playing a guy too many minutes, Tom Thibodeau, can affect their morale and performance. So if you don't have a hardworking guy and you're playing him a lot of minutes, they're saying that guys are gonna start complaining. That's cool. Tweaking the practice, that should be the, not he. Tweaking the practice regimen can help preserve injured players. Managing injuries, like that. Better CPU AI for trades and free agent signings. Sometimes they would do crazy stuff in previous years. Sign 4 and 5 point guards. You're like, what are you doing? So hopefully that stops. No signing trades. Eric Bonish says that he is looking to add that type of thing later, and it's always good to know that, you know, there are things still down the pipe, because I'll be honest with you, my league is so stacked, and we're talking about MyGM right now, but my league is so stacked. I was wondering, man, are you leaving room to add other stuff? But it's cool to see that there are some things that are being you know, that are being still worked on and couldn't be put in. I'm waiting to hear back, or not hear back because I didn't ask about this, but I'm waiting to find out whether or not the salary cap is going to be fixed, because in MyGM the salary cap was really a mess. It's not really a need to do the amnesty anymore, because very few teams still have the option, the amnesty even left, because you don't even get a chance to use it once. So they should probably just save the manpower on that and just work on some other stuff that is more about the present and the future. So those are my takes from that. But we did see some images. That kid Kuda, who is a YouTuber, and this dude is a beast on Photoshop, whatever he uses, he's an animal. And NBA 2K actually had him put together these images for the MyGM thing, so you can actually put a picture, a custom picture here. He put Rihanna here on this one, and you're gonna see throughout this is a bunch of other ones that other people they put in, like celebrities and stuff, right? This just further plays into my thought. That's LD2K, of course. This further plays into my concept that they're going to allow you to use the PlayStation camera and the Kinect camera to put yourself in the game. I think this is just the tip. I'm believing it more and more every time a new piece of information comes out. I believe it more and more. Okay, this right here just Because 2K, one thing they're really good at. They're really good at slowly unveiling features. They have a really good idea of pacing of how that's supposed to go. So when they announce something, it has the most impact. Now, last year there was some announcements, and all of them didn't come through the way they're supposed to. So we can only hope that these beautifully timed announcements are actually made good on this year. But I don't know. If you would have asked me, I would say within 2 to 2.5 weeks, I want to say between the next 10 to 14 days, I predict that we hear something about the use of the camera. I could be dead wrong, but that's what I think. So I'm sure you guys will let me know if I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm not. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, like this video, please, and subscribe. God bless.